Hey guys, I'm MeeMee and I do Allsorts, and today we have another Scrawlrbox. This is August's box, and if you don't know, Scrawlrbox is an subscription box here in the UK. You get different art supplies, prompts, and you're making something with it. So without further ado, let's see what we get inside. Alright, so in August's box we get... Ooh! Well, first off, everything is very blue. Something's trying to escape. Okay, these are our supplies and we'll have a look at them in a minute. Right, so first we have our scroll scene and this really intriguing pattern. I don't know why, but it's sort of like giving me like futuristic vibes. So the scroll scene has a list of our materials, about the featured artists, hints and tips. Oh wow, that is epic. I love that. So this is our featured artist's work, and this is very odd because it's like a thin rectangular shape, normally in like an A5 shape. And our featured artist is Capasso. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. And there's their info if you'd like to go see some more. So next we have this mysterious package. It does look like we can like canvas board or something. Oh, first something it does smell like cardboard, and it is cardboard. I'm intrigued to see what we're going to be using with this. And now it actually brings us on to the supply. Right, so first up we have our scroll sticker, which is just as awesome. Next we have our instruction list. Okay, so we've got one of my favourite brands, Molotov. Ooh, what is this? One for all acrylic twin. Ooh, I wonder if this is a paint marker. Yes, it is a paint marker. Acrylic based semi-gloss, highly opaque, quick drying, non-toxic, conforms to ASTM blah blah blah. So we can get them in 3 different colours. So we've got blue, black and green. First off, I have to say I am not a huge fan of the feel of these caps. They've gone like a really fine texture into it, and it's like really grating on my teeth at the moment. So on one end we've got a large bullet nib, and the other we've got a smaller one. And one thing that I have noticed is that you can actually see the paint colour on the inside, and it's even got like a gauge of how much you've got left in it, which is something that I've never seen before in any of the paint pens that I own, and I own quite a few different brands. So this is an absolute first, and I actually love it. But anyway, up next we have Zing Pen. It says writing for vellum, never heard of that one, and not entirely too sure what it is, but it's acid free, archival quality, pigmenting, and you keep it horizontal apparently, as you should do with all dual-ended pens. So on one end we have a bullet nib, and on the other end you get a larger bullet nib. And up next we have a Derwent line maker, and this one is in pink. This has a very small bullet nib, which is really cool. So we do have different sizes and nibs. So at least we've got like our pop of colour, like, you know, similar to what's saying. They've got yellow and I've got pink. Not necessarily my favourite colour, but there you go. And last but not least is one of my absolute favourites, and it's a Uni-Ball Signal pen, and that's what the nib looks like. And I do consider this as being one of the best gel pens because the ink is so opaque and it does show up on like almost anything. So I have quite a few of these, and I'm so happy I got another one. Right, and our sweetener for the month is a milk chocolate covered toffee. Now I do love things. If you've been trying to other variations, one of my other favourites, despite the fact I hate the brand, is the Cadbury chocolate eclairs. Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I really despise Cadbury chocolate. Me, taste wise, it's up there with the really cheap advent calendar chocolate, and that's saying a lot. Okay, so now we've met our contenders, I'm going to start prepping these pens and we'll try them out. Alrighty, so now we've got everything primed and prepped, and let's get into it. Ooh, There's some resistance, but that is such a nice colour. Something tells me I'm only going to get one pass on these. Alright, so there's the acrylic pens. Like I said, there is some resistance using it on the cardboard, so I'll be lucky if we only get one pass on them. So we'll see how this goes anyway. And whilst I'm at it, I'm going to start prepping a sample just to, be able to see how the gel pen works on top. And so next I'm going to try the Zing Pen for vellum, whatever that means. Alright, so then what that pen looks like. Again, there is some resistance because, again, this is cardboard, so it's going to have more of an dense feeling to it. But at least I've got different line widths, which is brilliant. And it's one thing that I don't like about art supplies is when you get them all, then it's the exact same thickness. So I'm so glad that I can get like different line widths. Like the dual ended paint pens, this liner, and even this pink one that I'm going to be trying out now. I tell you what, that pink is such a nice colour. And again, even though that I don't like pink, that is actually quite nice. And it feels really nice on the paper as well. Alright, and last but not least, the white gel pen. And it's beautiful as always. I know that sounded very sarcastic, but honestly, as you can see, it shows up really nice, the dark and the black is. I'm sorry if my voice is croaking quite a bit. But we have like two different blacks. We've got a darker black with the acrylics and a light black with the Zing Pen. And it does actually show up really well on both of them. And it even shows up nice on the other colours. So win-win. Like I said, there's a reason why the Uni-Ball Signal is my favourite, because it does show up really opaque. Now I've tried out all of the supplies, let's get on to the challenge. And this month the challenge is Digital Dystopia. Ooh, this is going to be really interesting. I've never tried anything like this before, but I am so intrigued to find out how everything is going to work together and what I can actually come up with. And already I'm taking a lot of inspiration from this, but I'm going to go and do some research and I will get back to you. So I had some time to think about this, and the only thing that came to my head was Wreck-It Ralph. Okay, so I didn't exactly have long to think about things, simply because when the Scrawlrbox came, I was actually watching Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet. So naturally I couldn't think of anything else but doing some kind of Wreck-It Ralph fan art. So I'm going to roll with it. So as you can see, I've got it all drawn out. And what I was going for was that in both movies, in Wreck-It Ralph, Sugar Rush was going to be destroyed by a virus, and in Ralph Breaks the Internet, same thing happens, but the virus was going to destroy the entire internet. So I decided to roll with that idea and actually have Sugar Rush's downfall, but I wanted to expand on it a bit more and actually have Vanellope's glitch being Sugar Rush's downfall, instead of a virus. So I went in a different direction. So what I've got is I've gone to Vanellope stood on the hill. I've got part of the Sugar Rush title in the background, glitching, breaking off, cracking. I've gone to the Coal Mountain exploding. If you've seen the movie, it's got Mentos in it. So that's like another disaster. And then I'm going to have like bits of code over in this corner just to have like then extra bit of glitch. So then that's mainly it. So even though then I do have a colour scheme and still don't know where I'm going to be putting the colours, I have a bit of a vague idea, but I won't know unless I do it, so let's get on with it. I am going to try and do like some different techniques in this, so it's not just flat colour. I've only just started to doing like been to village area here, and already the cardboard is being chewed up by the paint, and I have to layer on top of this as well just to try and get some textures in here. So this is going to be interesting. Here's a random little bit of a tidbit for you. The song Sugar Rush from the movie is actually the reason why I know how to spell sugar now. S-U-G-A-R. It's amazing what you can learn from songs, and I'm an absolute stickler in trying to spell things right, even though I am not the best speller. And I suppose then you can learn stuff and better if it's like really catchy. Now, are you even an artist if you don't have paint everywhere? Okay, so that's all of my base colours down. With paint pens you do actually have to let them dry, but I'm a little bit too impatient for that. So far it doesn't actually look like much, and you know, it looks like nothing's happening, but the next stems I'm hopefully going to bring everything together. Alright, and here we are. Now I have to admit I had so much fun doing this, you know, and just love having a limited colour palette, and even though that is not actually original work, I actually had fun doing a bit of fan art, and actually thought it came out pretty well considering I had no idea what I was doing or where the colours were going to go. So in the end, for the details, so as you saw, I started off with like the code on the matrix, so I just went down with the green first and then went over the top of it with the white highlights, and just to sort of like bring that up a bit because the green did like darken down quite a bit because it was on a black background. So I hope that at least comes across as, you know, bits of code. For the rest of it, like I said, I have no idea what I was doing and just wanting to break it all up so it wasn't just block colours. Got like cracks, I've got bits of highlight on the title, again, just to break it up. I did do a white highlight around Vanellope just to bring her forward a bit more because she was getting lost in the blue and the green. And just went a little bit dark down there, then just adding a bit more interest in the swirls and just adding a little bit more interest really. It was definitely a bit different in using like the carbons and the acrylics on top. Not exactly ideal, as you've heard me saying throughout, because you can feel when the paper has been ripped from the nibs, but you live and learn. So anyway, so from the acrylic paints, I have to say I absolutely loved using them. Again, they were so really easy to use. I love the fact that they have 2 different nibs, which really helped, especially in like the larger areas, and even the little window there, so you can actually see how much paint you've got left, which actually really did tell them quite a lot, especially if there was like separation in the paint. So well, you have to shake them up anyway with every use, so it was actually interesting to see that you could see the separation as well. I absolutely love the colours. The caps don't exactly match the paint, but you sort of like get the idea really. I also noticed as well that you can tell which nib is which, because you've got these silver bands, which is the smaller nibs, so that was extremely useful to have. Again, the only downfall to these really is the fact that I really hate the feeling of the caps. It just really grates on me. I'm just very sensitive to certain touches, and that wasn't exactly ideal, but I would definitely give these a go. And because they're acrylic paint markers, they would work well with the Poscas, which is great because I've got like every coloured Posca under the sun. So these will definitely be added to my collection. The Zing Pen was so easy to use. I actually loved using them. Did exactly what it needed to, and then got some really nice thin lines, some thick lines, so something very useful to have if you want in different thicknesses. And this did actually work very well on the paper. I had a little bit less tension when I was using it, and as opposed to using these acrylic markers, which, like I said, the tip just chewed up the paper so easily. Even on the second pass it was still getting tuned up. I would use these on like a different surface rather than a paper one. This one worked really well on the paper. So the Derwent Line Maker, even though I don't really like pink, it was an absolute great accent colour. I mean, I didn't use much of it because it's a very super fine tip, and it did really help with some of the details in the background, just to give like that subtlety, bring some of the paper through, so I wasn't wasting the gel pen, tiny little details on Vanellope. Again, it's just a great pen, and I'm definitely going to be adding this to my pencil case. And last but not least, the Uni-Ball Signal. And as you've heard me saying throughout, I absolutely love using these because of the opacity, and as you can see, went ham in some places, and it was just one pass and that's all you needed. I even went over it on Vanellope's socks. I mean, and all you needed was one swipe and it was done. And even going on top of the pins and kept in opacity, and it did not dull whatsoever. Greatest example would actually be this little bit here. I did this line directly on the black paint and it just shone up so vibrantly. I mean, that is how good this is. And it's like a really good staple to have around if you want those really bright highlights. Only slight downside to these is the fact that you can't really go over it twice. It's like a one pass thing. I tried to fix up highlights on Vanellope's there and I ended up picking up the gel pen underneath. But really, all you need is like one pass and these just to get the results you need. So if you're looking for a really good white gel pen, I would recommend that you go with this. And for the paper itself, I really didn't enjoy working on it. I don't work on cardboard sheets that often, so it was actually a real joy to work on it. I really don't know what materials would actually work on it properly, because definitely wet mediums don't cut it. It held up with the amount of abuse that I put down with the like double layers, doing extra bits on top. It hasn't warped at all and it hasn't come through the other side. So if you're looking for something really sturdy, for just like normal tube paints. I would actually recommend trying this out, and it's like easy mountable as well. Alright, and that's in for August's Scrawlrbox. Again, I had so much fun doing this. You know, it was just something a bit daft that I wanted to do. And alright, so if you guys would love to have your own Scrawlrbox, I will leave a link in the description box below. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.